Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we rise strong and proud. Running up the score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
Well, I'll tell you, the Kings got themselves a big-time win on the road, and it's going to make them feel much better heading home with a 2-4 road trip, knowing they're getting Zach LaVine for the next game in all likelihood. So, man, that was a hell of a finish, wasn't it? You got to make your free throws. The Kings did, and they end up winning.
Kings fans, let out your Sabaka roar. The Kings
How about
have
DeMar DeRozan?
Yes. Incredible, 33 points, Mr. Clutch there. But you have a bad road trip, Grant. You still return home over 500.
Yep.
Huge, so huge.
Huge at 25 and 24 because you got a bad Orlando team greeting you at home, and you should no way in the world lose to them. They have everyone out. But, okay, so all in all, 6 games. We thought 3-3 you would take it. They went 2-4, so it's not the end of the world. I mean, I think they kind of withstood the storm with this game tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's what you got to do. This team's got to take it game by game. We went down the schedule last post-game show. So one at a time. Tonight you get it done. And in a ways, it's kind of the start of a third season now. Once you get Zach LaVine here in a couple of days. So we'll see what they do. We're about 2/3 of the way through it.
Yep, big time. Don't forget a rant with Grant coming up later in this show. So give me some rant ideas on the chat line. Would greatly appreciate it. And of course, Ryan, we welcome the phone calls.
Yep. All you got to do is hit the link that's circulating in the chat. You can use the QR code as well. Grant, this one was one to me. In the middle of the fourth quarter, the Kings got 8 straight stops in 7 possessions. 8 stops in 7 possessions.
Well,
Huge.
that wins your games in the fourth quarter. That wins your games in the fourth quarter.
That will do it. And Rudy Gobert, is there a more undercover dirty player in the NBA?
No, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean,
that shot to the ribs was unreal.
I know. It is unbelievable to me.
Not a basketball play.
It's unbelievable to me. It really is. You know what? I'll tell you, Malik Monk had a big-time second half too, didn't he?
He did. They were gassed, though. Malik was gassed. You could see it in the legs.
42 minutes.
Same thing with Domantas Sabonis. I mean, those guys are getting more attention with Fox off the floor. But that's why I think as the trade deadline approaches, you have to assure that backcourt. You got to get another point guard on this roster. Have to do it.
Yep. Well, maybe they'll do that before the trade deadline on Thursday.
Sure hope so. We're going to put all the pressure on the world on this guy. SE kicking us off tonight. Welcome in.
What's up, Ryan? What's up, Grant?
Hey there.
I really like this team. Honestly, this is like the same group primarily that we played against the Boston Celtics. And, we have a great, with Keon Ellis in the starting lineup, we have that defense. We don't have the length, but we have the defense. And, part of me wonders when Zach LaVine gets here, are we now sacrificing in our starting 5 offense for defense? I think we are. I'd really like to see, and I know this would never happen, but I'd really like to see this starting 5 get more chances to start games. And, again, it's probably going to be impossible. You're never going to have Zach LaVine coming off the bench, but it'd be really nice because until we get a starter that has good defensive characteristics like a Keon Ellis or whatever, then we're where we at. We may get against better teams 30 to 40 points dropped on us on the first quarter. So I really, really like this layup. Hopefully I don't know what you guys think about that, but
Well, Keon Ellis had by far his best game of the road trip. But I mean, the reality is, unless there's an injury, he's going to be coming off the bench. That's just the way. I mean, they didn't get Zach LaVine to have him come off the bench, and Monk's not coming off the bench, and DeRozan. So, I mean, it is what it is. He's going to have to just adjust to that role. And unless Monk or LaVine get hurt or DeRozan, Ellis is not starting.
Yeah, and he's going to get major minutes too, regardless of whether he's on the bench or in the starting lineup. And that's going to be up to Doug. It's going to be a game-by-game thing. If you feel like the defense is handicapping you at the beginning, you get him in the game earlier and you do what you need to do. Go ahead, Nessie.
And I was going to say, I noticed that Trey Lyles didn't have that many points, and the bench was overall didn't contribute, that many points. But him and Carter, I really, really, really love their hustle. It's fighting for rebounds, the hustle, the deflections. It's really, really amazing what these two are doing off the bench. And I looked at Doug McDermott. I really was hoping he'd get more than 6 minutes and 2 fouls on the stat sheet, but I feel like
he can't play. He can't play.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Doug McDermott. If you're relying on Doug McDermott, you got real problems.
No, but Grant, do you think that the reason Doug McDermott was really good in the Denver game is because there was no pressure on him? I feel like
game
he's
was over.
Yeah.
No, I know, and that's what I mean. When there's not pressure on him, he seems.
And not only that, he's an NBA player. He's got a lot of experience. He's one of the best players in the world because he's in the NBA. He's a bona fide shooter, and when shooters are feeling it, they're going to score. But unfortunately for him, and it's the reason why he was available after the season began. There's a reason why no one picked him up. And you can see with his usage on the Kings, regardless of whether he gets minutes or not that many minutes, he's extremely limited into what he can do for you now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for taking my call.
You got it. Thanks, Essie. The one thing I would like to see, Grant, when LaVine gets here and they put him in the starting lineup, I want to see a little bit more of a concerted effort to get Keegan Murray some shots. Don't let him go 7-8 minutes into the game before he gets his first touch, before he gets a ball in the air. I think it truly makes a difference for him.
Well, he was huge in the first half. Didn't really take that many shots in the second half, but overall, had a very good game. And so, you found a way to win a game at the end of a long road trip, and it's going to make this team feel really good coming back home. Really good. Now, you still have a very lopsided road schedule here coming up too, so you're going to be on the road a lot.
You are, but you know what? The road is where you bond. It'll be good for the guys to be with LaVine, kind of get that mojo going, find it, and hopefully.
But there's not a lot of time for practice when you're on the road.
Great point. This is true. Very true. GP, welcome in tonight.
Hey, how
are you?
Doing? Good. I think this was a much needed good team win. We definitely got to keep up the defense, and with LaVine coming in, I think we should be okay as long as we do eventually get some type of point guard help as well and some center help. I agree with you guys on Gobert, man. This guy was just taking advantage of everything down there. He was pushing everyone around. That should have been a foul where he almost hurt Monk,
Terrible.
But it was BS.
Yeah. As far as even when a guy like DeRozan's on the court, guys, and he's good at drawing these fouls. Why do you guys think that is? Sometimes we can't get the whistle, even he can't. I just don't understand why. But going forward, I think they should get this win over Orlando going next, and start another win streak. Like the Beans.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say this. I thought the refs let tonight get really physical. I don't think they reined it in very much. But this type of effort from the Kings, start to finish, where you're coming forward at a team and it's not like, hey, we chucked up 23s, it's not working, we need to get to the paint, Grant. You get a more consistent whistle on a nightly basis. And if that continues, you should see a little bit more consistency, right, Napes?
You should see more consistency with the scenario that you just laid out. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
So hopefully that will continue. But yeah, GP, they let a lot go, a lot tonight. All right, GP.
Thank
You
you.
notice GP, he's always in the car when he calls.
I know. Maybe
Always in the
he's like
car.
I don't know. Maybe he's a salesman. Maybe he's who knows. But that's okay.
He's an
You know.
Amazon delivery
Yeah.
driver. I asked him. I was like, I gotta know, man. You're in the car all the time.
Oh, okay.
So, Corn Dog, what's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
Hey there.
First win of the new trade team, and honestly, I like Keegan got going. Trey Lyles found his shot after a couple of games. We got good effort from Monk and Keon, and it was a good team effort, and we beat a good team.
Yeah, they were a good team. They didn't have Julius Randle, which they really miss. They had been on a roll before Randle got hurt, but yeah, they beat a good team in their building at the end of a long road trip. So that everything's positive here on this game.
Yeah, not a lot to complain.
Domas picked up those 2 fouls in the third quarter pretty quick, and I thought that was a very big coaching move by Doug to put Domas in late in the third quarter as the Timberwolves got really close and they were at that run. And he played a really good fourth quarter to stay out, didn't get his 5th foul until late in the period, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this new look team. I think again we're probably with or without Fox. I think we're going to be in the same position wise. We're going to be, a play-in first round team, but we're getting the bonus of having extra picks.
Yeah, the picks to me, I don't get very excited about the picks unless they're like, top 5, top 7, top 8. And the reality is, even with that said, if you don't take the right player, picks don't do anything for you. So I'm not that excited about the picks.
Yeah,
when I have
true.
a guy, when I have a asset like the Aaron Fox, picks to me don't excite me unless they're really at the top of the draft. And these picks aren't that.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the heck 2031's gonna be.
Well, who cares about 2031?
Yeah.
Like seriously, like I don't give a damn about 2031. I really don't.
If I'm Monty McNair, I'm looking at, and I think this will be part of the narrative. If it doesn't happen, you're using that, you're flipping those picks right now to get another player, or you're doing something like Phoenix did, where you are consolidating picks to get one higher pick that's going to be sooner.
Yeah, again, I don't think we're done. We'll find out pretty soon if we are or not. So there's no reason to speculate that.
Yeah, you're right. We're gonna know. You're right. We're gonna know very soon.
Yeah, we will know very soon if this is the team future going forward, or if this is what the rest of the season's going to look like until the draft.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, light the beam.
Yeah, the beam is lit. Absolutely. And it needed to be lit. Also, I'll tell you what else is lit. New Works Plumbing is lit. They're awesome. And they're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Again, thank you to all of you who have reached out and complimented New Works Plumbing when you have had an issue and you've had to use them. Greatly appreciated. They appreciate it too. Again, New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you and they are available around the clock. Kings win 116-114. And a much needed win. Coming home 1-5 would have been a very bitter pill to swallow.
It would indeed be under 500 if you don't pick this one up. So big win for them tonight. We remain right. We both thought that they would stay over 500 the rest of the season. So we survived to see another day. We want to know, what we haven't asked in a while? Where everybody's watching from. Check in. We haven't done that in a minute. Let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah.
Chat, call the show. Use the link. We'll keep putting it out there. Let's go to Ken Shear.
Yeah, hi. How are you guys doing? I was just wondering
How are you?
if a lot of these DEI programs is going to help Asian Americans in the NBA in terms of representation in the league and height requirements.
I can't even hear you. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Can you speak up a little bit, please?
I said, how do you think DEI programs are going to help with Asian American representation in the NBA?
I think that you need to call another program. If you want to call the show and you have a brain in your head, we would like it. If you don't have a brain in your head, don't call the show. Kings win at 116 to 114, a much needed W. As Ryan said, they're a game over 500. All right. And they come home and take on a bad Orlando team. And it should be the debut of Zach LaVine.
Yep, excited fan base probably when the Kings return home. 1 day off, Grant. What's that mean for these guys?
Well, it means being reunited with your families if you're married and have kids, which is going to take up all of tomorrow. All right. Then you are adjusting to a new player with probably an extended shoot around on Wednesday because you have to indoctrinate Zach into what you're doing. And then you probably are going to start off slowly against a really bad team. But I know I've said this in the past, but I think DeMar DeRozan changes everything. And I think we've seen that this year on the coming home. He seems to be able to stem the tide. Last year, the Kings lost to Detroit after a long road trip. They lost to, some bad teams after a long road trip. I don't see how they lose to Orlando. I really don't.
It's an excellent point. And here's the other thing. Will all of these Kings be playing on Wednesday when the Kings return?
That is another fabulous point, because if there is a trade that's imminent, you'll know because players will not be dressed and they will not play. So you're absolutely correct.
All right. He gets his second chance of the day. Now stepping up to the plate, PK.
Hey, guys.
What's up, PK?
Hey, I'm not gonna be like controversial or anything like that. I was on a flight and I had to listen to Timberwolves broadcast when Kings were playing. So like I didn't get to, Kings have the best broadcast people on the planet, but I had to listen to
the Kings have the what?
They have the amazing broadcast.
Really? What are you like living on Saturn or Jupiter or Mars? Really? They have
Grant,
an amazing broadcast? Are you freaking kidding me?
No. Listen, while I was on my flight, Grant, I had to listen to Timberwolves talk about Kings, and you know what they said?
But it was the radio broadcast, right?
No. Live on TV.
I understand, but it was the radio feed. You're on an airplane. You weren't watching the video. You were listening to the
Wi-Fi.
Beg your pardon?
He's watching on Wi-Fi.
I was watching on Wi-Fi.
He paid the $59.
Yeah, I was watching on Wi-Fi. Okay. And then you know what happened? I want to ask you guys,
because I'm going to tell you right now, no disrespect to the Kings broadcast team. The television broadcast team of the Minnesota Timberwolves is one of the very best in the league, and they blow away the Kings broadcast team. It's not even comparable.
No, but Grant, I want to ask you this specifically because you know this industry and you know everything. When Kings started playing today on Timberwolves podcast, they said about, in reference to Kings, they said, who are these guys? They said, they're like who is this team?
And you know what? I say the same thing on the postgame show. I don't know who this team is either because they're wildly inconsistent. And I think that's
I'm saying because they came out like shooting and they played so well. I think they said, they made a quote. They said, we don't know the Timberwolves podcasters or whatever. They said they're like, we don't know what this Kings. Who are these Kings? And I thought it was such a compliment to our team and to our fans that Timberwolves said that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, where'd you fly to?
I'm in LaGuardia.
Oh, okay, good for you. Well, I hope you have a good time in New York or wherever you're going.
Hopefully my plane didn't crash. So good day.
Well, you know what? That's a real positive. I don't know.
A lot of people lost their lives this week.
I don't think that's something we should be joking about. Unbelievable. PK, thanks, but come on, man. We just
don't make no sense.
I don't know why people would joke about something like that on a week like this. I really don't.
Grant, I don't think PK. I just think sometimes PK, como se dice, no filter. He just does not have a filter. It goes right from mind out through mouth. And then you see where it lands after that. Look, here's what I'll say about the broadcast team. And I think you're right. I've heard Minnesota's broadcast team. Very good. When you get Kyle and Katie, it's the best that you can have here in Sacramento right now. I think they do the best job together out of the options. Obviously, no Grant and Jerry, not even close, but better than the alternative, in my opinion. Lafayette, what's going on tonight?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go right ahead.
Awesome. Calling from Los Angeles, so you guys want to know where people are calling from.
Sure.
First of all, I love the trade only because I think Zach LaVine does add a lot to the team, and as you saw tonight, he'll be a great addition to the playing style. But what do you guys think, or who do you think the Kings should go after with what they have left and their assets and so forth, and what, kind of like a Jonas Valanciunas type player? Who do you think they should go after? You think would help this team realistically?
Well, I think they need a big, and they definitely need another point guard. I mean, I think those are the two things on my wish list. Ryan, what about you?
Big and a point guard. If we go off of the 4-game sample size that we now have without De'Aaron Fox, which his team is 4-0, which should be noted, best win of the year against Boston. I'm saying John Collins. If they're going to get up and down the court the way that the Kings like to play at that pace, I think John Collins fits in better for that big. Point guard, I'm not sure. There's a lot of options there, but I think those are the two areas that need to be addressed most. How about you, Lafayette?
We might have lost him.
All right. Is there anybody on Utah that you like point guard wise? I know Colin Sexton comes up, but I think his number is a little bit too high off the top of my head.
Yeah, I do like Sexton, but I mean, but in order to get John Collins, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that would take?
I think it would take a Trey Lyles, probably Trey Lyles, Isaac Jones, or Devin Carter, and some picks. You could probably get away.
Danny Ainge loves picks because he's very good at drafting. So keep that in mind.
I think you could probably actually get away with Trey Lyles and picks, but how do you make the money work? There has to be, you have the trade exception. So
yeah, the trade exception. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you could load up the picks, and I think you might be able to get Danny to bite on those. I mean, that's how he built up Boston. That's what he's done in Utah now. What's it like with Danny? You always say you don't want to negotiate with him.
Danny is like playing with the best liar's poker player in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like Danny is Danny is so bright and thinks out of the box. Like when I was around Danny and talked to him, and both when he was in Sacramento and then after he retired and was in Boston, I used to love talking to Danny, and we used to talk not a lot, but every time the Kings played the Celtics in Boston, and he would just make me laugh. And he is like, for instance, he was anti-Eli Manning, right? Telling me that I was crazy and everything.
Yeah.
And when Eli beat the Patriots from Boston, when I saw Danny, he goes, "Oh no, don't tell me. I was praying that I wouldn't run into you." Like he was saying that, you know? And then he's like, Eli didn't win the game. The defense won the game. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, of course.
He was the MVP. Well, he shouldn't have been the MVP. Then a couple of years later, when he won again and beat the Patriots, Danny's like, he just shook his head. I go, "Hey, has Mr. MVP been to any games up here? Has he made the trip from New York to be up here to watch the Celtics when maybe the Knicks?" I go, "Has Mr. MVP been around?"
Oh,
he's
my
like, "He should have been
gosh.
the MVP." I'm like, "That's 2 MVPs, 2 victories over Tom Brady, Danny."
Danny. I love it.
We used to just sit there and go back and forth. It was hilarious.
That's great. I freaking love that. Jeff, welcome in tonight all the way from Texas.
What's up, guys? few things I liked about the game. I love Trey Lyles and Ellis. Their defense was really stood out. And another thing too, it's amazing how when DeMar DeRozan, when he has the ball, there's almost a calmness. Whole team, I guess I never get stressed out if he's going to make it or not, because I feel like he damn near makes every shot. And then the other thing, I don't know how Gobert only had 2 fouls the whole game. It was insane, but I love the effort, and I loved it. It looked like they were having fun. And when Sabonis went out with those fouls, he never mentally got out of the game. You could see him still coaching up his teammates, still part of the game, and I love to see that.
Well, I think you got to give Doug a lot of credit because, he was very, very direct after the loss to Oklahoma City and said, this is unacceptable, unacceptable, unacceptable. And we're going to find out what kind of guys we have in that locker room in the next game. And so, you know what? I like that. It wasn't Mike Brown complimenting the other team and all of that crap. It was direct to the point and said, this is unacceptable. And we're going to find out what type of team we have in the next game. And I like that. I think that he did an excellent job.
I'm so glad you brought that up. You showed him the Boston tape too. It's like, yes. I know you guys can do this. It's here. It's in this building.
Yeah.
Get it done. And they did indeed. Jeff, sorry we took you down because the background noise.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much. Toa, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, dude?
I'm actually chiming in from the South Pacific island of American Samoa. So there are Kings fans.
You're definitely not in Minnesota. I know that.
So I just wanted to make a little slight comment about Keegan Murray. Right, he goes for 17 points in the first quarter, and I know he's been struggling a little bit with his 3-point shot, but overall, his defense effort. But what do you guys think? Do you think there is a lack of empowerment that's happening with Keegan Murray? Because the guy, when he uses his toolbox, he kind of gives a little sample, and then next, he just disappears. And I'm like, let's run some screenplays. Just have Keegan do something. And I'm hoping that with De'Aaron Fox's absence, that there's a little bit more empowerment is the word I would say, empowerment of Keegan Murray.
You're very knowledgeable, and I'm telling you, I want you to call more often because we need insight like that. You asked a fabulous question, Ryan.
Nailed it. I think there is certainly a dynamic to that, Grant. I mean, when you're in the third year of the NBA, you're learning, you're on a good team, and you become the fourth option, and then you're struggling. It's a little bit in your head. I think you got to pick the young man up. And one thing, to his credit, that he's done all this season, his physicality, his ability to get off the floor quickly has improved. He's gotten quicker off the ground. So I think you're right on. How do you say it? Toa-wear?
Yeah, it's actually my South Pacific brand. It means warrior, warrior wear. Toa, T-O-A, and Samoan means warrior. So thank you guys for taking this. I appreciate it. I'll chime in more.
What time is it there right now?
It is 4:55 p.m.
Wow. Awesome, man. and I won't even ask you how the weather is because I know the weather's got to be perfect, right?
Tropical 24/7. Blessings.
Hey, please call again, would you please?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Good job, Toa.
See, now that's great. We first time, or at least first time on this show, maybe he's called the pregame. I don't know.
No.
But that was a great insight. It's spot on. And we're all jealous that you're there and we're not.
Empowerment. It was the perfect word. How do you empower the young man? Well done, Toa.
Yep. Warrior. And again, we're all jealous of where you are right now. So
it's pretty nice. It's pretty beautiful. 4:55 matinee basketball. Game started there.
4:55 matinee basketball. Probably watching a game on the beach, with his little iPad, watching the surfers go by and all the beautiful scenery. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't suck.
Yeah, he's gonna figure out what he wants for dinner, and he'll go to the right part of the beach to catch it. He's got it. He's got it going right. I love it.
I love it.
Cassio, what's going on?
All right. Here we go. Here's the worst case scenario of what could happen at the end of the season. Listen up, Kings fans. Here's the worst case scenario. Kings are 9, San Antonio's 10. Fox and the Spurs beat us at the end with a buzzer beater, and then we go home. That's it. And we don't want that to happen.
I'm just going to shake my head. Okay, I don't really know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. I will say this. Okay, I will say this. It is time for a rant with Grant. It is brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. All right. If you go to edhmotors.com, you'll see everything that David and Adam can do for you. This is a long overdue new concept. Just two guys trying to do something different and better. You look at their website and their inventory. If you don't find what you're looking for, don't worry about it. They will get it for you. That's what they do. Have a vehicle that you want to sell? No problem. Call them. Looking for this special type of a vehicle? No problem. Call them. They do it all. All right. And you'll take delivery at their auto lounge in the El Dorado Hills Town Center. No dealership. You don't deal with all of that. Again, it's a great new concept. Go to edhmotors.com and check out EDH Motors Automotive Reimagine. So the Kings get a win, but we still get these morons calling the show. Why can't we have more callers like Warrior? Like, that's what my wish would be. Warrior. What a great call. Do you know, like, I'm going to give Warrior, no disrespect to some of our other tremendous callers, I'm giving Warrior the best call of the new year so far. That's what I'm doing for him. Not because he's in an area of the world that I wish I was at right now. Not because it's beautiful tropical weather that we're not experiencing. No, it's not because I'm jealous. It's because he asked a very insightful, educated question. He got to the point. It wasn't like, nah. It was freaking perfect. It was almost like a professional broadcaster. And then we get PK, who doesn't think before he talks, who can't make a concise sentence. He's a rambler. He goes on and on and on and on. Just talk. Just make a sentence, 2 sentences. Ask the question. And I know PK is a big-time fan, and I appreciate that. And I also appreciate the fact that he's a loyal viewer of this channel, because without our viewers, we don't have anything. So PK, if you're watching me right now, I don't dislike you. I don't hate you by any stretch of the imagination like you put on the chat line the other day. I just want you to be more concise, be more to the point, which is the same thing as concise, and stop with the stupidity. You know, like, just stop. Just come on and have fun with us, but don't be stupid. All right? Like, is that asking too much? And then, like, the last caller, like, really? Like, what's wrong with people? Like, I feel like I'm back on Sacramento radio dealing with Stanley again. Like, I thought, like, I would never have to deal with a Stanley again. But now I got PK. PK is the 2025 edition of Stanley. PK, you're not a Cowboys fan, are you? Please tell me you're not a Cowboys fan. Please tell me you're not a Cowboys fan. Because I guess if you are, that would explain it. But seriously, people, what the hell is going on? All right. Thank you, Warrior. Thank you. And maybe we can take a road trip to the beautiful South Pacific and visit you. And maybe, Ryan, what do you think? We can do a matinee viewing party on the beach. That would be freaking awesome. And that's my rant for tonight.
I want winners.
Grant wants winners. And yes, toes in the sand, looking at the ocean. Only problem's the Wi-Fi. We can figure that out, buddy.
Oh, let's do it.
I'm in. I am in. Now that's got me motivated. Kings, make the playoffs. We'll make it happen. Toa, make the room for us, brother.
God, I hope PK's not a Cowboys fan.
Michael, what's up, man?
Hey guys, just wanted to ask, because the Kings traded away 3 guys and received 2 in return. Is it because they're on a road trip where they can't get somebody from Sacramento for that other spot? And is it indication that, you know, they might get another player because they have an open roster spot? Or what does that look like?
The second part of your question, yes, it's very difficult. It's not practical to get a player to Minnesota on that short notice and everything that goes along with it. So yes, the second part of your question, yes.
Okay. So it's no indication when they get back to Sacramento, they'll just recall somebody from Stockton?
Well,
or they'll acquire via trade.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the middle because all the guys from Stockton, there's a maximum amount of times that they can play or at least be dressed for an NBA game. So that's why you see a rotation between. I can almost guarantee you're going to see if there is no movement at the point guard position, you're going to have Colby recalled because he has a full-time roster spot. But as for now, it'll be a rotation between two-way guys or possibly the Kings picking somebody else up.
All right. Thanks, guys. Later.
You got it.
Thank you very much.
I was trying to look it up because Mason played in the game in Oklahoma City. I know Stockton just played the other night. So where were they at? Stockton may have been playing today. No, they play tomorrow in Mexico City. So yes, that would have been a little bit of a difficult travel, Napes, to get that figured out.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's not for one game. Now, if they had 3 more games left on this road trip, yes, 100%, or 2 games left, absolutely, no doubt about it.
Trying out G League teams in Mexico City. Whew.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yep.
You see that Adam Silver wants to possibly create a second league in Europe, second version of the NBA.
Well, I think that would be great, to be honest with you, because there's so many talented basketball players around the world. I don't know how that would impact the European leagues and how that would go over in a lot of the European cities, to be honest with you. But the concept, to me, I like that concept a hell of a lot more than the in-season tournament that's played in Vegas. I got to be honest.
I do as well, but what happens if the product's more entertaining? Because it's a completely different style of basketball.
More entertaining than the NBA?
Well, a lot of people are not happy with the product of the NBA. A lot of three-pointers. Sure, you're going to have more athleticism in the NBA, but you might see better basketball. Did you see better basketball in the Olympics? I think you did to a degree with the best teams.
Yes. Yes. I don't like the way the NBA game's played right now. I've been very open about that. I don't care for it. There's just way too much three-point shooting, and I think that's one of the main reasons why the ratings are down.
Yeah, and check this out, by the way. Speaking of that, the Kings only took 24 three-pointers tonight, Grant.
Yeah. Very interesting. But that's going to go up with Zach LaVine.
Oh, yeah. Completely
and
will.
You want it to go up because he's a really good shooter.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Phil, what's going on tonight?
What's up, fellas? Good win tonight, I think. Obviously, any win against Minnesota is a good win. It's funny. I kind of put teams like Minnesota and why am I blanking out on the other team that they
Phoenix?
New Orleans, like in the same tier. And I feel like Kings usually get the better of Minnesota lately, and you put up that other team. I mean, they can't win those, obviously, when we're talking about last year and stuff. But that's kind of not what I was calling in for. I know I mentioned. I know, buddy. Stay out there.
Hey, buddy.
When they had those first, that 7-game stretch where they were on the winning streak with Doug Christie, I called in and I said, how long are they going to be able to keep up this with the energy? And I think they ran out of gas. Obviously, running out of gas was a big thing with the De'Aaron Fox trade rumors coming up and everything. And obviously, we know what happened on there. And with this trade, I mean, they got a little more, they got a shot of adrenaline in them going again. And they had another big win tonight. And I just don't think they can maintain that. I think they're running off adrenaline right now again, like they were after Mike Brown got fired and they got Doug Christie's adrenaline going. And it's just, I don't see them sustaining this, obviously. I mean, I know there's still some talks. I mean, we got, a couple days before the trade deadline's over. I mean, what's going to happen? I know there's Cam Johnson in the talks, but I don't know.
Well, if you're going to get Cam Johnson, you're going to have to give up a very big piece. You're not getting Cam Johnson for draft picks, okay, in all likelihood. Listen, I really believe this, and I said this after the Oklahoma City blowout. The Kings aren't as bad as they were under Mike Brown, and they're not as good as they played under Doug. The Kings were extremely fortunate during that win streak. Almost every team they played was without one or two key players. Okay. Did the Kings play better? Yes. Did they look more into it? Yes. But they also got significant breaks. Okay. Philadelphia, they went on a 15 or 16-0 run to end the game. No Embiid, no Kelly Oubre, right? The Memphis Grizzlies didn't have John Morant. Miami didn't have Jimmy Butler. 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter for the Kings. The Warriors the other night didn't have anybody playing except for Steph Curry. Let's just call it the way it is. They've been very fortunate, but now the makeup of the team changes, and maybe all of that will change.
I mean, that's yet to be seen, right? I don't know. It's just it's such a precarious spot to be in as a Kings fan too, because as we all know, I mean, Monty McNair in the front office, I mean, they're done either way, right? I mean, I know everyone's been talking about this. They don't trade away Fox, they're going to be done. They trade away Fox, they're still going to be done. It's just, I don't know. This is just typical Kings fan stuff. I just feel like we're just in this vicious cycle where it's just, man, it's just it's tough. But I ain't ever leaving. And hopefully this works out. I'm going to be optimistic, but I don't know, man. I don't know. What are we going to do?
I hear you, Phil.
You're a fan. You root for the team, and you hope for the best, and you hope that they're making the right moves, and you hope that Zach LaVine can stay healthy. And again, we don't know if there's going to be another deal here in the next 48 hours or so. So we're all kind of on standby.
Yeah, or really quick, if they do something that you think puts the team behind, you think they make the wrong moves, you can be a fan and be not okay with it as well.
Yep.
You can push back in your own ways.
At least I gotta say, like I was a fan of them hanging on to Fox and trading him in the offseason. At least I gotta say, I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of those picks. I think, and Grant, I know you mentioned this yesterday and everything. Picks are picks. There's nothing guaranteed in there. But at least what we got back. I mean, I say you call it straight up with LaVine, Fox, straight up. You can't argue that that's a bad trade. And then you throw some picks in there. I mean, hopefully those picks turn out. But I mean, how many Kings draft picks in the last 2 decades have hit? I can't think of more than a couple.
Yeah, but this is new management. That's when I mean new. The history doesn't have anything to do with this management. But I understand your point. I think right now what we all need to do is, before we evaluate this team and think about what may or may not happen, we got to wait and see if there are other moves before Thursday before we can really do that.
Well said.
Agreed.
Well said.
Well, hey, appreciate you guys having me on. Go Kings. I'll be there till I die. So
thank you.
Kings,
thank you. And once again, we really appreciate all the people that are watching. We got a couple of thousand people that are joining us. I looked at our numbers for the show that we did yesterday.
Massive.
And it was gigantic. I mean, I think the YouTube numbers were 8,000 and we had several thousand on X. So I just want to once again thank everyone for jumping on with us and making this such an enjoyable show, but a sought after show. We really appreciate that. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. And I'll tell you something else we'd really like. And again, I don't know how this damn analytic stuff works. I really don't. But if you could just take a second and hit the thumbs up, the like button, it would take you 1 second. If you like our content, please give us a thumbs up, a like button. I guess it makes a difference. It would help us. And if you could help us, I would be greatly appreciated, as would Ryno.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on the X platform, hit the little heart there as well. We are lucky enough to be featured most games in the main Kings discussion. Our content comes up there, and that's because of you watching it. That's because you liking it, retweeting it. So thank you for that as well on that platform. I based off of people I've talked to around the team, and I just want to address this really quick to what Phil said. You said, there's going to be a bump up with Doug and this isn't sustainable. I get a sense that there's a little bit of a chip on this team's shoulder that's like, we're not just De'Aaron Fox. We can play too. And we've seen that now in 4 games. Now, they still need to get better. They need help. But there's some good basketball left here, and they're going to be challenged with the schedule coming up.
They are going to be challenged. They still have a very, very difficult schedule. and it may take a little period of time for Zach to fit in, although probably not that much. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. He certainly knows how to play with DeMar DeRozan, so that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But it's not going to just happen overnight. That's why I think it's such an advantage to be playing such a bad team in your first game in the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, and he's not stepping into an overly complicated offense. I thought Katie made such a great point tonight about using the screens that Domas sets for you, because a couple of the fouls that he got were because he was kind of extending out because guys weren't going shoulder to shoulder on that screen. And it's the little things like that that can make the big differences for these guys when they play together like five and take this team to the next level. And I think defensively, that's going to be the biggest thing, Grant, with Zach mixing in and trial and error against Orlando.
And that's why I think for the stretch drive here coming up when we hit March and April, that's why I think a trade before Thursday is imperative to get to that point. I don't know if this roster, the makeup of this roster, is capable of doing that right now. You know, you look at the schedule that Ryan's putting up there, you know, that stretch that we're talking about in the middle there, beginning with, you can begin with, it's brutal. Look at that.
New Orleans 3 times in basically a week. So you're getting them. You don't know if they make a move or not. Does Brandon Ingram go away? Does DeJounte Murray just had the bad injury? But that homestand, Grant, the one that we keep highlighting, the longest homestand of the second half of the season, it's just nasty. It's Memphis.
Murderers Row.
It's Cleveland. It's Chicago. Wait, haven't had enough? It's Milwaukee. Then it's Boston and Oklahoma City, back to back.
Yep. So get the wins right now. And here's the other issue. You can't predict injuries, but the chances of the Kings not having a guy or two out for a game or 2 or 3 or 4 now and then is, you know, it's unlikely. So you have to figure that into it as well.
For sure. Great point. Let's bring Fuji in. What's up, Fuji?
Nope, not there.
Fuji?
All right.
All right.
Well,
no Fuji.
It will give me an opportunity to tell you about Bennett's, whether it's the West Side Grill in Rockland or their location in Roseville or Sacramento. Prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. It is absolutely awesome. You go to bennettsrestaurants.com to make a reservation and more. Love all the messages we get on the chat line, and I get emails. I got a person today that sent me a message via Instagram telling me that he went there and he loved it. It was his first time. You know, I love hearing that. Brian Bennett loves hearing that. We appreciate everything they do. And Brian's also a great charitable person for the community. He does a lot of tremendous things in our community, and we greatly appreciate that. Just go to bennettsrestaurants.com, bennettsrestaurants.com, prime seafood and steak. You'll love it at Bennett's. Once again, bennettsrestaurants.com.
Here's one for you. George Hill, Frank Mason III, Yogi Ferrell, Corey Joseph, DeLon Wright, Tyrese Halliburton, Davian Mitchell, Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan McLaughlin, Devin Carter. Who's the best point guard Fox played with, Grant?
Well, it would be Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes. I would
And
agree.
I'll tell you, Corey Joseph's a hell of a veteran of a player, but it would be Tyrese Halliburton.
With you 100%. Some of those names he barely played with. Jordan McLaughlin, Devin Carter. He had a decent run with Davion, but just completely different players.
Absolutely.
Do you think that kind of put, like, when you're De'Aaron Fox and you have so many guards drafted behind you and you're asking for help, does that make you pick up the phone to Rich Paul?
Did they make a trade to get Domantas Sabonis for one of the guards that they had?
They did.
Did they go out and get a proven all-star in DeMar DeRozan to help out with everything?
They did.
So, like, hello.
Well, they also, I mean, there were Dalton Connect, for instance. How does this team look different with Dalton Connect versus
They
Devin
look a lot
Carter?
better to me. That they would look a lot better with Dalton Connect. I mean, Dalton Connect would have been a perfect fit for this team. I think I'm not ready to write off Devin Carter yet, but right now, based on what I've seen, it looks like a big swing and a miss.
Yes, I agree. For those that have been asking, this is what the Kings roster and trade assets look like there. They've got a couple of trade exceptions that we talked about on the pregame show. So, trade deadline coming up here in just a couple of days on Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's what they have to work with after the trade with De'Aaron Fox.
And I think we'll do our Kings Roundtable on Thursday this week instead of Wednesday, because then the trade deadline will be in the books and we can talk about it more. So we'll do that on Thursday. We'll see if we can do it at 4:00. How does that sound?
That's perfect. And I'll do a trade deadline special. I will be on from probably 10:30, unless the Kings make a move before then. I'll be on from about 10:30 to 12.
Great.
Wrapping it up.
I love that. Hey, don't forget about Sunrise Landing. You go to CalusaSunrise.com. You get all the information you need from Blazona Development and all these beautiful models to choose from. Remember, no Mellorews, no homeowners, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Good access to the major roads like I-5. It's all there for you at Sunrise Landing. You go to CalusaSunrise.com and you'll get all the information from beautiful Sunrise Landing. What a game for Sacramento tonight. The end of a road trip. Everyone's just looking to get home. It's getaway day, and they win. The last game of long road trips, in my experience, have been the most difficult to win. This is a big-time win for the Kings. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, and evens up the season series 2-2 as well.
2-2 or 2-1?
2-2.
They played. Wait, are you sure about that?
Positive.
I think they've only played 3 times.
ESPN said they played 3 times prior.
Yeah, I may be wrong. Can you look at the you have the schedule? Can you put it up and just count how many times they played Minnesota?
Yeah, I got you. Well, it's easier. Let me put this up really quick.
Oh, go ahead. Just I listen. I may be completely wrong.
Here, I got this for you. You've got right here. So 117, 115 was the opener. 130, 126, 115, 104, and tonight's game, which is still showing live.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. So I was wrong. Because they were all early. There was October 25th, November 16th, November 28th, and then tonight or thereabout. It was around there. So okay,
Right.
my bad. So that is important. It does even it up. Good job by you, Ryan. Very important.
Now
isn't it interesting that home court, all 4 games were lost by the home team?
Very interesting. Yeah, and looking in the standings too, as we put those up really quick, these 2 teams are right there on the border when it comes to the play-in. I know Minnesota's sitting at 7 right now, but that's about as high as they've been the last couple weeks. They've been floating more around 9-10 names.
Yeah, and Minnesota without Randall, that's a huge miss for them. I mean, they need him back. They were actually playing very well for a stretch. They got their game going, and now without Randall, that Washington game is a horrible loss for them. They lost the game 2 nights ago to the Wizards. That was horrible. But Minnesota now has lost 2 in a row. As you said, they're 7th at 27-23. The Kings are 10th at 25-24. But everybody's bunched up. And listen, I wouldn't count out the Warriors just yet. And it's going to be interesting, Ryno, to see if they make a move here and what they do before the deadline, because they're even in the loss column with Sacramento. Do not overlook the Warriors.
It's a great point. A lot of pressure on Mike Dunleavy and that group to make a move with Steph Curry where he's at right now. A lot of Warriors fans not happy about where that franchise is sitting. And Grant, I would say the same thing about this Minnesota team. You saw Conley tonight. He makes that big 3 towards the end of the 4th quarter. But to me, it's that backup point guard, that starting point guard, much like a Tyus Jones in Phoenix, that's not tying this Minnesota team together exactly right. So do they do something? A lot could change here in the next 48 hours.
116 and 114. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because you'll know when a impromptu show may occur, like yesterday. That wasn't scheduled until the trade was made. And, Ryan did the first hour. I joined him for the second hour, and we had thousands of people that were watching, many of whom are subscribers. So they knew that the content was going to be on. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. We would greatly appreciate it. And doesn't mean you're getting emails and you're not going to have to pay money or anything. Just hit the subscribe button and you'll know when the shows are coming your way.
And here's the other thing, our handles right there, at Grant Napier Show, at Ryan_in_Sacktown. If you follow us on X, anytime we go live, you will see it right there in your timeline.
Yep.
So you
absolutely.
will also know that we are up and going. King's Court tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Awesome.
We'll be here. Grant, you doing anything, Mignon?
No, I got a commitment tomorrow. I mean, if something breaks, I will do my very best to get out of it and jump on my phone and do a quick show. But no, my next show would be on Wednesday.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, looking forward to the King's Court tomorrow, 2 p.m. Again, thank you all so much for the love and the support.
Wednesday at 3 o'clock will be Sean Salisbury.
Super Bowl edition of Sean Salisbury. Salisbury. Looking forward.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Keep that beam lit. Big win tonight. The Kings, 2 better than the Timberwolves. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.